Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network, the #1 podcast network for professionals. This is your boy Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with...
It's Mateo, a.k.a. Animal Cub.
Ryan Saba, Captain Cleveland Browns, Cavs, Indians, CLE till I die.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about our favorite hip-hop duos. So by duos, we consider two rappers. So if it's, like a Gang Starr, Eric B. and Rakim, unfortunately, they will get some honorable mentions on this episode. But we are going to be talking about our favorite hip-hop duos from the East Coast, the West Coast, the South, all over the board, favorite tracks, favorite albums. And then towards the end, we're going to talk about solo artists that we would love to see collab.
Before we get into that, the wait is finally over. Football is back. You might not be at the game this year, but you can still be in on the action at BetOnline. This is where I'm going to take the opportunity to plug the water cooler, the sports division of Zero Dark Nerdy at WC Sports Pod. Luke and myself are bringing you new episodes every Tuesday, and we are giving you the bets of the week. So we won't take the opportunity to talk about bets of the week in this portion, but if you want a bet of the week, at WC Sports Pod on all your favorite streaming platforms. So from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coaching props, BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any place online. And there's always the online casino. It never closes. So head to betonline.ag today and take advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. Again, that's betonline.ag and sign up today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.
Woo! Ooh, that boy good.
So with that, I guess I'm going to go first.
Yes, sir.
We've done some hip-hop episodes in the past. I think those have been probably, especially like the Machine Gun Kelly, MGK, Eminem beef episode was probably, to this day, our most viewed. So
most listened to podcast
we
episode.
Probably need to do more of these. So this is an exciting opportunity. The three of us have done some hip hop episodes in the past, so it's good. So I'm gonna do. I don't have a top 5. I have a top 3.
Okay.
I wanted to focus on my favorites.
Of course.
Had to do an honorable mention though, and this is more of an unofficial duo, and I'm not going to say a whole lot. I just want to give them their props. Mm-hmm. Tony Stark and the Chef.
Ooh, nice.
I would say probably that Ghostface and Raekwon is an unofficial duo of the Wu-Tang Clan. So anytime they are featured on each other's songs, it is always an experience. So I wanted to give Ghostface and Raekwon their props. Start with number 3, Black Star, Mos Def and Talib Kweli. They got one album, a single album in 1995, but they did collaborate 15 other times. I think that the way that I would characterize Mos Def and Talib Kweli, they are so different, yet so much alike at the same time. Mm-hmm. Their message, what they try to get out there, the ideas behind their lyrics are very, very similar. But Talib is kind of more of a poet, just kind of speaking written word, whereas Mos Def is a lyricist. It's an undeniable sound. When you hear Mos Def, you know he's an unforgettable, one of a kind voice. So I know that we're going to talk about some of our favorite songs later. I don't know, do we want to do that now?
We'll go through. Let's do it with the bands. Okay. And before you get into that, I do want to give Talib a big shout out. His podcast is probably one
really
of my favorite podcasts out there.
It's on YouTube.
Be sure to check that out.
It's on YouTube, and it's really, what's it called?
I
have a subscription for it, so it just kind of reminds me when there's a new episode. really good. It's outstanding. The one with Robert Glasper is really good. He had Action Bronson on there. That was really good. He had
I like the one with him and Everlast from House of Pain.
the one with Jesus.
He had your boy from CNN on there.
Don Lemon?
Don Lemon.
No, the one with
Because he had beef with him, like on live TV. So it was kind of, yeah.
the one with Too Short is phenomenal. So check that out. So my favorite songs, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that now, right?
Yeah.
Favorite songs by them. There's a couple. Obviously, their first smash hit on the Black Star album, Definition, is. It just kind of enters with a ferocity with Mos Def, and it doesn't stop. And that really introduced Mos Def and Talib Kweli to mainstream hip hop heads. Know That, which is on the Mos Def's Black on Both Sides album, great song. And then one that's a little bit lesser known. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't think it's on an actual album of theirs. It's a collaboration called Born and Raised, and it's on Chappelle's Block Party. They did a live version of it.
Okay.
It's, basically it's just an ode to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Very, very good. So check those out.
And I do believe that they were. I know that Mos Def was on Ruckus. Was Talib also on Ruckus label too?
Yeah.
Okay, so because I know they did a couple songs on the Sound Bombing albums. If you have a chance, check them out. They're old school. You're not going to find them in the CD store.
What's that?
But check it out. Ruckus Sound Bombing Part 1 and Part 2.
At
Lyricist
Columbia
Lounge.
Records.
Right, BMG, buy one, get four free.
And Lyricist Lounge.
There you go.
They're on
Yes.
those two.
Yes. So moving on to my second favorite of all time, and this is a duo that I would characterize as sort of grimy, and that's the Clips.
Nice.
Malice, Pusha T, Virginia Beach. I would say that. Look, Pharrell is the Virginia Beach sound, but he really took it to the next level by putting two grade A lyricists in Malice and Push on. That first album, Lord Willin', is an album that changed my life. If I still had a CD player in my car, that would be on constant rotation.
It is in mine.
I go back to my early 20s, and if I ever drove anywhere too, I mean, let's put that in consideration.
We are in the middle of a pandemic.
But I go back to my early 20s when that came out, and I was just like, oh my God, when Grindin' first hit.
Yeah. And that song will always stand like the test of time because it hits hard. It's probably one of my top 5 favorite hip hop beats of all time.
And you got just Pharrell's voice at the beginning, sort of like as like a, I don't know, like a hype man or whatever on a lot of those songs. It's just ridiculous. So, when you talk about favorite songs there, I talk just really the entire Lord Willin' album, but Grindin', When the Last Time, and then there's 4 songs that if you are a person that hasn't listened to that entire album, Young Boy is an outstanding song, Virginia, Comedy Central, and I'm Not You. Those are 4 songs on that album that weren't mainstream hits, but they have that same Pharrell sound. They have the flow, the vibe of what the Clips bring to the table. So check those out.
Nice.
Last but not least, look, we're all going to talk about this group, so I want to be careful with how much I say. It's Outkast. I think you would be hard pressed for anybody to not credit Outkast as the top, hip hop duo of all time.
Right.
Andre 3000, Big Boy. I really look at them sort of as the Kobe and Shaq. Right? Like you got 2 stars in their prime. They were on the scene for a short period of time. I mean, Kobe and Shaq only played together for a few years.
Right.
And that's really how Outkast was. They were kind of a comet, right? I mean, they had 4 or 5 really good albums in probably about a 6 or 7 year period. They did the Speaker Box and Love Below album, which was them being separate. And then they haven't done anything. They did what, like Idlewild?
Yeah.
But, that was already kind of a different flow and feel. But the thing about Outkast that I love is as they, that first album, Southern Playalistic, they're wearing like jerseys and they're very Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right. But as they became more recognized and more critically acclaimed, they really became more comfortable with who they were as artists and they got more creative. Right. And some would say that they were weird, which I think we would all say that, Andre 3000 is a little weird. And, like Big Boy, he's got his own thing going, but their music stands the test of time.
Agreed.
So I'm going to talk about, Southern Playalistic, Players Ball is iconic. But my favorite song from that album is the one with them and the Goody Mob, Get Up, Get Out.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, that is when Big Gip raps on Get Up, Get Out. I mean, that's not even, Outkast, but that Big Gip verse is just next level. And if you watch the documentary, The Evolution of Hip Hop, there's an Atlanta episode where they really get into the whole Dungeon family when they were living down in a basement. Yep. All of them, the Goody Mob, all those guys. Check that out. It's really outstanding. A.T. Aliens, there's a song called Jazzy Bell on there that was really kind of the beginning of their movement from traditional grimy Atlanta hip hop to something different, which is what they became. Aquemini was sort of Jazzy Bell in a whole album. You know what I mean? Like there was not a lot of traditional sort of Southern hip hop. I guess that's the wrong way to say it because they are Southern hip hop, right? So what they did is what Southern hip hop became. But the title track, Aquemini, is outstanding. The first song that I have an underline on this list is a song called West Savannah on the Aquemini album.
Nice. Next
level. Mamacita is next level, but Spotty Dopalicious is sort of it's an instrumental, right? But they later on in the track they start to actually, I think Andre sort of has where he's kind of talking over it, but it's just horns at the beginning. I would play that song in a bar. I wouldn't give a shit what anybody said.
Now, who else want to mess with Hollywood Cole?
Yeah. Stankonia. That came out my sophomore, junior year of high school.
Was that Bombs Over Baghdad?
Yep.
Stankonia?
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No, Aquemini came out fresh. So Stankonia came out, I think, when I was...
That was after.
That was my freshman year of college, I think. So that's when... you would be walking through campus and people would have their windows open and you would hear, Sorry, Miss Jackson. You would hear Bombs Over Baghdad, but the songs on there, So Fresh and So Clean, obviously, but I'll call Before I Come, Humble Mumble. That's the next one I have underlined, and Gangsta Shit. I just urge everybody, don't just, and any recommendation that we make of a song from these duos that you haven't listened to, go back and listen to it because these are songs that, weren't played on the radio. And when we put these CDs in, we skip past Miss Jackson and we go right to Humble Mumble, Right. So, and then finally I talked about The Love Below in the speaker box, even though it's not a joint album, there is a song on The Love Below that changed my life. Not in a serious way, but it made me look at Andre 3000 in a completely different way. This song has a very Prince vibe, and it's called Pink and Blue.
In a Claire Huxtable type of way.
That's right. But it does. Wouldn't you agree that it has a very Prince vibe to it? Just kind of funky. So yeah, lots about Outkast. You're going to hear a lot more about Outkast from these guys, but it's tough to say they're not number one, and that's my list.
So before we get to Matt, gun to your head, you have to pick one Outkast album. Which one is it? You got to pick one.
I'm probably going to Aquemini.
Nice, excellent. And on the Prince vibe too, he's got a track on there called Valentine's Day that I fucking love. It's just such a happy fucking song. Yeah. It's nice.
Every day is the 14th.
Probably going to Clementine, but I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
there's something about albums that were released when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I look back on with a fondness because of that period of your life. It's just different. So I think, obviously Clementine's a great album, a lot of great tracks. But I think that plays into it too. So, Reasonable Doubt came out when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Blueprint came out when I was in college. Even though Blueprint and Reasonable Doubt, when you start talking Jay albums, I would probably still lean on Reasonable Doubt just because where I was in my life. It's just you're very impressionable time, and that's when you fall in love with these artists.
And we came up. I mean, we did have the fortune of growing up in a very great era of hip hop. I mean, 90s to just about the 2010s. I'm not saying there's horrible hip hop now, but
you don't
the
enjoy
quality.
You don't enjoy the radio today.
No, I'm good on on Lil whatever the hell is coming out. And then you got, Tekashi and these fucking clowns out there.
Little fire starter.
Right. Little glow stick.
Little glow stick.
I guarantee you there is a rapper out there right now called Lil Glow Stick. So, but I mean, we came up in a fantastic era. And, I know that obviously generations always do this. Oh, well, there was Elvis and then there was the Stones and this, that, and the other. But to me, hip hop will and forever always hit its stride in the 90s. And it took the wheel and just never let up. And it, from 90 to 2010, I think that's the golden 2 decades of hip hop to me. I mean, there's still been some great albums that have come out after 2010, and we can do a whole nother episode on that. But, like I said, I think we were fortunate enough to grow up in this time frame.
Listen, man, I'll take the Pepsi challenge with some of those Pharrell beats on the Lord Willing album with just banger after banger after banger. Next level stuff, man.
Yeah. Excellent. Good job, Sabe. I love that list. Mateo.
Yeah, you kind of said it, because I was going to say, we did the 90s episode, and when we did it, it was like 94, 95, 96,
right.
97, and it was just back to back like that.
Yeah.
With all of us.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like that guy, but being from New York and being from Brooklyn,
Yeah.
it takes me somewhere else.
Yeah.
So in that time and in that era, there was a portion of hip hop called the boom bap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And backpackers.
Yeah.
Backpacker Nation, Black Moon.
Boot Camp Click.
Boot Camp Click. So Helter Skelter and Smith & Wesson, they're in my top 5.
Yeah.
I know that's not right. But they're in my top 5.
Right, but this isn't the People's Choice top 5. This is our top 5.
Yeah. So
We aren't taking votes.
but Helter Skelter, the Nocturnal album, Sean Price, rest in peace. Oh my God. He's one of my most favorite MCs.
Yeah.
I really look forward to hearing his new stuff every time. Really love Helter Skelter. Smith & Wesson, I don't think there would be a Helter Skelter without Smith & Wesson.
Right. Because that was really the first duo of the Boot Camp Click, besides Black Moon,
Black
which was
Moon.
really just Buckshot and the Beat Miners. So,
Yeah. Evil D. He's a great DJ. Great DJ.
Yep.
But as far as the boom bap era goes, there's a ton of duos. And like I said, we're not gonna do the whole I don't count Run DMC.
Sure.
I
guess you
I know
could.
some people could.
Right.
You could, but for the sake of this particular episode, no Run DMC, no Gangstar. Salt and Pepper was actually 3 chicks. So no De La Soul.
But here's the
2
thing,
MCs.
right? I guess when we start talking about semantics, right?
Right.
Run DMC, two MCs in a DJ with Jay.
Right.
Salt and Pepper was Salt, Pepper, and Spinderella. Spinderella was their DJ. So I guess semantics wise, you could probably include them. But Gangstar, right? There was Guru and
Primo.
So no, you can't do that. And then
Eric B. Rakim.
Yeah,
Right.
Pete Roxy L. Smooth.
Yeah.
All that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They're Mount Rushmore.
Right. Right.
But for the sake of this episode, I'm going backpacker boom bap. I'm in the hood and I'm okay getting through the hood because I got this shit in my ear.
Right. Right.
Just to spit some off, Showbiz and AG,
Nice.
Channel Live, the Madism, incredible. Ill Al Scratch. We talked about that the other day.
Yep.
Where
Where
my
my
homies? Cellar Dwellers. I actually ran into them in Kings Plaza randomly, and I'm just a little kid. You know, it's those guys. That was like the soundtrack for New York.
Right.
It was just different.
Yeah.
It was just different, and I don't expect everybody to get it.
Yeah.
But boom bap it's a lifestyle.
Well,
And
we're here to
backpack is-
educate too. So for all you young bucks out there, pay attention.
That's right.
Get a little culture, a little history.
There's more out there than the baby.
God. Shout out to the Beat Nuts.
Nice.
Jesus.
And even like in my younger days, when I first moved here, I got introduced to like UGK,
Yes.
8 Ball, MJG.
Yes.
Right?
Memphis.
That
Yep.
shit still rocks. That
Yep.
that rock with me. The 3-6 is more than two dudes, right? It
Yeah,
was
3-6
anyway.
is like the Wu-Tang Clan of fucking
Well,
Tennessee.
it's Wu-Tang light.
Yes, yeah. I'm not comparing them to
I
Wu-Tang,
think
but
there's like
there was
5 or
like
6
800
dudes.
people in it.
You
It
had
felt
what?
like
Project Pat. You had
Project Pato.
Project Pat. You had bands who make it. Who's
Juicy J.
Juicy J.
They're Oscar winners.
Yeah,
by the
they
way,
are
Yeah.
for
Hustle and Flow.
Hustle and Flow.
Hustle and Flow.
That's a great
which is
movie.
remarkable. So I'm going to go back to, if you want a list, I'll give you a list of top 5.
That's right.
Well, number 4 would be Outkast for me.
Okay. Wow.
And I know that's high,
Yeah.
but I put EPMD at number 3.
Okay.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. The EPMD's even like middle school, right? Like that's
Oh yeah. That's
Right,
taking it back.
When
That's taking
we
it
worked
back.
at Bagels,
Yeah.
yeah.
right
Yeah.
next to the record exchange,
Yep.
they came out with what, Back in Business
Yeah.
or something like that. And
Yep.
there was like senior year or junior year, whatever,
Yeah.
high school.
Because it was after they had their little beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't looking good
No.
for a long time.
No.
But then they did Back in Business, and then like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's like nothing ever happened.
Yep.
God,
So-
I didn't even think about them.
Go back
Yeah.
and listen
And a
to
lot of people
EPMD,
think
man.
of Eric Sermon as a producer too, but they don't remember that he rapped. And he had a couple
He's
good,
a great rapper.
He had a couple good hits, but and he's a phenomenal producer. He's done a ton of Redman shit.
Yep.
I think every single album he's touched.
Going to. Okay, and tied for second.
Oh, okay.
I told you. I
He's got a top 11.
yeah, I do.
All right, so tied for second.
Tied for second. And this
Three
goes,
to 5-way tie for first.
this goes back to me saying, like, when I put this music on or this particular album on,
Yeah.
I'm ready for anything.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody fucking with me.
Yeah.
MOP and Capone Noriega.
Yo.
Love it.
The Mash Out Posse, Annie Up remix. Those dudes will rob you.
Yeah.
Like today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Back then too, while they're signed to a label, they would rob you. They will still rob you now.
Capone Noriega, when that first came out, we talked about that too. The War
The
Report.
War Report.
I think it's one of the most classic hip hop albums, period.
Yeah.
The War Report from beginning to end, and it had Mobb Deep all over it.
Noriega,
Tragedy
They
was
were all
on
from
it.
Queensbridge.
Yes.
Noriega's just underrated.
Very
in
underrated.
general,
And that's
right?
another episode
Just
we'll have
in
is underrated rappers, but
I
yeah.
don't think he gets the.
No.
So, he's credited with creating reggaeton.
Really?
Well, he credits himself.
Well,
He can do that. And check out his podcast too.
But I'm not going to
Drunk
argue,
Champs.
I guess.
Yeah, that's a good one,
Drink
too.
Champs is great.
Yeah, yeah. Drink Champs is fucking awesome.
But yeah, the War Report, I wore that CD out, man. From beginning to end. Bloody Money,
Yep. TONY.
TONY, Invade.
Invade and Y.
I did it for the love of cash, Yana.
Yep.
All right. And my absolute number 1 is Mobb Deep.
Nice.
When Prodigy passed,
yeah.
it was like you can tell what it did to Havoc.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to see them a few times, and they rock the crowd.
Yeah.
They have hits, but at the same time, they're telling you stories. They're real poets, and to know that Havoc produced more than half of their shit, like it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that Mobb Deep shit is.
It goes hard as fuck.
And it's even hard for me to. I mean, aside from the infamous, really like That's like a 5 mic album. If we're
You
still
got me
doing
over
mics
here
and
staring
shit.
off in space. Do you see me? I'm
sorry,
Like,
what did I do?
you're taking me back to a place, man. Like
But see, I
this-
stay in that place.
Yeah, man.
Because
Jesus.
it's comfortable for me.
Right.
And like, I'm gonna tell you right now, whenever I go back to New York, I don't go to Brownsville. Fuck that.
Right. Right.
And that used to be home. But at
Yeah.
the same time, if I put this shit on,
Yeah. Ain't nobody fucking with me.
I might walk to the building before it gets dark. But you got to be sure to be out when it gets dark. But
Damn
yeah,
straight.
But Mobb Deep is it, man. Hits after hits after hits, and it was like they was speaking to me. And then the first video I ever saw was them in the hood and with the fire in the can and
Now
Survival of the Fittest.
Oh yeah, Survival of the Fittest. So
Survival
this
of the
was
Fittest.
after because they were originally called Juvenile Hell.
That was their first album.
That was the
Yeah.
first album, and then they did Survival of the Fittest, which just
which was the infamous. And that whole
Yeah.
album had production by Q-Tip, Premier.
So they did the Nas thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking, hold on, honorable mentions, unofficial. I talked about Raekwon and Ghost, AZ and Nas.
That's one
oh,
of
you're
mine,
gonna
yeah.
say anytime they get together, man.
That's one of my, I wish that they would, because they have enough like product out there to actually put an album together and it would be fantastic. But I would love for them like right now
Yes.
to go do that.
Yes.
And they could kill it. They could kill it. Yeah, it's absolutely Ray and Ghost. That's it, you know. As far as who I would like to see,
Nope, we'll get to that. As
Oh,
far
okay.
as like the together.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll get to
Okay,
that.
so what else did you need? Das Effects. That's another boom bap. Lords of the Underground.
Oh yes. Fun fact: Redman was a DJ for Lords of the Underground back in the day.
Yes, he was. And Dog Pound, Young Bloods. I fuck with the Young Bloods. The A-Town Stomp. That shit was so cool.
If you don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck.
But yeah. So when you talk about duos, that's immediately where I went to
Gotcha.
because Mobb Deep is like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's like Bible to me. I remember I was working I was working at the bank, and you know that's suit and tie every day. And I shout out to my man LaMarvis. I said, LaMarvis, man, I need a copy of Infamous. I can't find mine, and I need it tomorrow. And he said, "What are you getting into this weekend?" He was afraid.
Right.
Are you okay? Like, oh, I'm fine. I just need it. So and that whole album changed the way people talked, man.
Yeah, the
The
dun language.
dunny language.
Yeah.
And it bled into the CNN because that came
Yep.
right after it.
Yep.
So
What it do, done?
what up, Don? Aki. Slow down, Paul.
Summer is over and fall is upon us. With so much changing, it's increasingly difficult to find that extra time for you, the time you need to take care of yourself and look your best. With Plexiderm, all you need is 10 minutes, and you can look 10 minutes younger. Plexiderm is a clinically studied scrum that gives your appearance the right kind of changes. It visibly reduces wrinkles, fine lines, and even under-eye bags in minutes, and the results will last for hours. You can try a 6-application trial pack for just $14.95 with free shipping when you visit tryplexiderm.com and use the code BELIEVE. That is BLEAV. Again, that's tryplexiderm.com, TRYPLEXADERM, and the code is BLEAV at checkout. Make those wrinkles, lines, and under-eye bags disappear with Plexiderm.
All right, so mine, I didn't do in any particular order, to be honest with you, because I didn't think it'd be fair. And this is just, just like the rest of us. You may like some of mine, you may not. So I'm going to go ahead and start off, to me, like the first original rap duo. I know Matt said, not really Run DMC because they did have Jam Master Jay, but they are, two artists. Rev Run, DMC, and obviously RIP to Jam Master Jay. But this was the first hip hop duo that I remember and just rocking with. I mean, as far as favorite tracks, we can go down the line. I try to narrow it down as much as possible. And this goes back to when I was DJing, which, I just stopped DJing like last year, but you can still play It's Tricky right now. and that shit still hits in the club.
You used to DJ?
We'll get into that later, Saba. Peter Piper's another banger.
Peter Piper.
Walk This Way was really the first ever mashup between hip hop and rock. Besides Blondie, but she was really just rapping. So she was like the first kind of rock artist to rap. But this was an actual mashup, courtesy of our boy Rick Rubin, who we talked about on our favorite producers episode. So heard that beat and went to Run DMC, and they said, yeah, we can kick it to that. And then, it became a smash hit on MTV, especially at that time. King of Rock, always hits.
Probably
It's not higher.
That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, love it. It just fucking hits. It's like one of their hardest songs. They're not known as like gangster rappers, you know what I mean? They're just rappers.
Yeah.
And
But they still had the respect.
exactly.
Joey
exactly.
Simmons.
Right. And then, one of my favorite Christmas tracks of all time, Christmas in Hollis. Always a banger. And, and what kind of like one of their last hits, as far as newer hits in the 90s was Down with the King.
Down with the King.
Yeah, that was the name of the album. That was kind of when they tried to go a little bit too hard. They were wearing, all kinds of shit. But Down with the King is one of my tracks. As far as
that was a Christian song, right? That was
yes. But they were still, as far as appearance wise.
Yes.
Because if you look at that album
Still black
cover,
hoodies.
yeah. But they started, where they went with the Timbs instead of the Adidas. If you look at the cover though, they're like, oh, you're trying to be hard, but at least you're rapping about the King.
Right.
Big ups to God.
You hear that?
Please take care of us. Favorite album, Raising Hell, 1986. Of course, it's Tricky, Peter Piper on that. Just a whole bunch of bangers. My next group, and again, this can obviously be up for debate, but we did talk about two main MCs. So I went with Tribe Called Quest primarily because of Phife and Q-Tip. I know they had the production on there, but really when you listen to the albums, it's those two rapping throughout the entire album. So
I'm shaking my head.
Yeah, Saba's shaking his head at me right now.
Shaking no.
No. I mean,
Why no?
that's like saying the Beastie Boys, right?
There's literally three of them. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
But there's literally three of them, and three of them are rapping on every single song.
yeah,
now.
but I mean, what is it? The third guy, Jerobi. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, it's your list.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with my list.
I'm saying
So
I don't agree.
I know, and trust me, I was on the fence about this, but I also wanted to give a big shout out to Tribe because I don't think we talk about Tribe Called Quest
don't.
enough.
They don't get enough shine. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm gonna force them on this list.
I know I've talked about this, but I want to take the time to shout it out. Michael Rappaport directed a documentary about the Tribe Called Quest called Beats, Rhymes, and Life that is probably one of the best hip hop documentaries you'll ever watch in your life. So check that out.
All right. Well, as far as my favorite tracks from Tribe, I got to go with Can I Kick It? That's probably
Yes,
one of
you
my
can.
favorites.
Yes. Yes, you
Yes,
can.
I can. And definitely one of my daughter's favorite Tribe songs. Scenario always takes me back.
Well, that's not fair. That's not fair, man.
I know. Like I said, I was going to force Tribe on this list somehow, so I did. Award Tour. Oh My God, with a nice little cameo from Busta Rhymes on there singing the hook. And their most recent and really last, album that had Phife on it is We the People.
Mm-hmm.
So favorite album, I got to go Midnight Marauders, 1993.
Yeah.
Instant hip hop classic when it came out. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, it came out the same day as Wu-Tang
Wu-Tang.
entered
Enter the Wu-Tang.
the 36 Chambers. So a fantastic day in hip hop. And fuck, we're going to be celebrating the 30-year anniversary for that in 3 years.
Christ.
Goodness gracious. Up next, as far as newer groups,
Wu-Tang?
definitely by far.
The Wu-Tang Clan, is that next?
It was actually going to be 3-6 Mafia and the Wu-Tang Clan. I was going to combine all
All of
15
them.
members and then just go off duos. Got to go with Run the Jewels. Big shout out to our boy Trackstar, the DJ. He's been on the show a few times. And, the combination of LP with Killer Mike is one of my favorite collaborations in a very long time. I want to say ever, but LP's New York, Brooklyn flow with Killer Mike's Atlanta flow, I did not know that it was going to mesh that well until RTJ1 came out. And, they're just hit after hit after hit. And I mean, to me, they're kind of one of like the last great hip hop duos that are currently still putting out hits.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're easily the best duo out right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, by
question.
far.
Very unique,
By far.
very unique sound. You know, an RTJ song when it comes on.
Yep.
I think that's the mark of a lot of these groups that we've talked about. You kind of know when it comes on, but they have a very unique sound. It's really, really dope.
It is. And it was actually, I think it was, the story goes, it was somebody from Comedy Central, because LP was doing some tracks for Comedy Central, went up to, I think both of them was like, you guys should collaborate on an album. And, you know, their first two were independent. I believe that the next two are not, or they could be still independent. You know, we don't have fact checkers, so we're just kind of going off the whim here. But, you know, as far as favorite tracks go, I got to go Legend Has It. Ooh La La off the new album is a straight fucking classic to me. Blockbuster Night Part 1 on RTJ1's great. Nobody Speak, which is actually on DJ Shadow's CD, is a fantastic one. Call Ticketron, and then Shut Up and Count the Fuck, which includes Zach De La Roca. And again, big shout out to Trackstar DJ. I did not know this until he told us this, but Zach from Rage Against the Machine and LP have actually been good friends for a very, very long time.
Cool.
So apparently, like, he was crashing on the couch for a little bit over at LP spot. So that's why you know, and we were excited this year to go see Rage Against the Machine with RTJ opening up, but then fucking COVID happened.
Listen, we do actually have fact checkers, and I just got a text message. It is confirmed Tribe Called Quest does have 3 MCs.
Well, I still, like I said, we just don't.
I'm
I
just
never had a
fucking
chance to
with you.
talk about
I
Tribe.
love you, buddy.
This is my Q-tip. This is for you, buddy. I know you're not a duo, but I was going to put you in this list regardless. Matthew said the same thing the other day when we
No,
went out
I
for
thought
drinks.
about doing
he
it,
was
too.
like, nah. I was like,
I said I wrote it down.
yeah.
I
we
wrote it down.
all thought
I
it.
thought it.
We all thought it. And then favorite RTJ album. I love RTJ 4. I really do. But I think RTJ 3 stands out the most to me. I think that's when they really, really just hit their stride. I had the pleasure of seeing them on tour with Jadon. Jadon saw them twice the same year. We saw them at the Fillmore. And I mean, they put on a fucking performance. So speaking of putting on a performance, last but definitely not least, I got to go Method Man and Redman, two of my favorite rappers. If you get a chance to check out, please check out our favorite rappers of all time episodes. These two guys are in my top 5. Redman is my number 1. You know, it all started with How High. You know, they always seemed like they could mesh and do good shit together. And How High was on one of Seba's favorite soundtracks on our soundtrack episode on the show. And ever since then, it's just been a wrap. So everybody was incredibly excited for their first album to come out, which was Blackout. Definitely one of my, you know, in my top 10 albums as far as duos go. I got to go as far as tracks, of course, How High. The first song on there, Blackout. Serial Killer is fantastic. The Rockweiler on Redman's album, Do What You Feel. And I think that was on Muddy Waters, right? Yeah, Do What You Feel with Method Man.
You have to find it though, because on Muddy Waters, Method Man wasn't on it originally.
Okay, I thought so. Because they've done a bunch of tracks on each other's albums.
And Whatever Man
And-
also.
Yep. Well, no, actually, Whatever Man was Eric Sermon. Method Man was just in the video. Because that's what I thought too.
Whatever Man was on Muddy Waters.
Oh, right. Correct.
Yes.
Correct. As far as on there. Yeah, because I was going to put Whatever Man, and I remember because they had the video where they were dressed up as the Blues Brothers.
The Blues Brothers, yeah.
But it was just Eric Sermon and Redman on there, and Method Man was in the video. Fire in the Hole, again, on the first Blackout, and as well as AWOL. And again, if you ever have the chance to see these two fellas live, and I've seen them solo. I think I remember Matt seeing you at the show for Redman at N Club back in the day. And Coco Brothers opened up for him,
Yep.
formerly Smith and Wesson.
Yeah.
And the Let Me Clear My Throat DJ Cool was his
Was
DJ.
he there, really?
Yeah, he was the DJ
I
for
don't remember
Redman.
that.
So he's still putting on a fantastic show. I've seen Method Man solo twice, but I've seen them together about 4 times. And it's like going to a fucking rock concert. Like, they know how to work a crowd like none other. Same thing with RTJ. Unfortunately, I've never had a chance to see Tribe or Run DMC or Outkast live. Hopefully one day, but that's my top 5 with a little asterisk next to Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
So for this part of the episode, before we wrap up, we were, had this conversation as far as like who would we like to see team up for an album? Kind of similar to Kanye and Jay-Z doing the Watch the Throne thing. So we'll go back in this order again. We'll start with Saba, go to Matthew, and then go to myself and bring it home.
Yeah, I mean, look, my favorite MC of all time is Black Thought. To me, it's like Black Thought and anybody, I guess. But if you gun to my head situation, I'd probably say Mos Def. To me, that would feel like a whole album of Double Trouble from Things Fall Apart. Sort of them going back and forth, kind of handing the mic back and forth. That to me would be a dream scenario. I think, Matt, you hit the nail on the head too, and I didn't even think about it. To hear AZ and Nas put out an album right now would be game changing, right? Like it would be game changing. It would be one of those. I might actually I still have CD players, right? I still have a CD player in my car, so I may actually go be at Best Buy to buy the CD.
I thought you didn't have a CD player.
I don't think Best Buy sells CDs.
I do in my car.
No, they don't. I went to Best Buy the other day. They went from like 8 racks to 1 rack. There are no more CDs at Best Buy.
I have a CD player in my car. I just don't drive anywhere.
Amazon.
FYE. That's the only
Your
other place.
PlayStation. Oh, your Xbox. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I got I pre-ordered the Xbox Series X on Tuesday. So
But
I
not
now
the PS5. Not the
No, I mean I figured why take the second most powerful machine ever created when you can have the most powerful. Okay. We'll save that for another episode.
Yes. Oh, I cannot wait for these 2 things to come out because we're definitely going to have an episode on this.
Weed, yeah. We should hook them up and do we can play them together.
Side by side comparison.
No question. Awesome. That's it.
Oh, that was it? AZ and Nas?
No, it's Black Thought and Mos Def probably, and then AZ and Nas is sort of an honorable mention.
Okay.
Now, you said Black Thought, and we even spoke about this the other day, and I said, who the fuck can keep up with Black Thought?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Maybe Mos Def, right?
You've heard these solo joints that he's done.
But the Hot 97, the 14-minute long where he's just going off the dome and it makes perfect sense.
I don't want to hear anybody try to keep up with him. I just want him to do his own thing.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I've heard the solo stuff. Now, look, some of the solo stuff that he's doing, I don't love it only because like there'll be like 9-minute long songs and you got to go like 4 minutes in before the song actually starts kind of thing. So it's a little, I just want him to just destroy word from word go. You know what I mean? So, but
Web 2.0.
Yeah, all that. Like I'm, I mean, anybody that doesn't appreciate Black Thought doesn't appreciate hip hop.
Oh, I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
Shake your hand with that. That is a fair statement, Brandon. Well, as far as collabs, I think we're still due a Ray and Ghost. They called it.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah. They called it Ragu, Ray and Ghost Unite. They released something along those lines, but it was like a compilation of shit that we already heard.
Oh, gotcha.
And it was maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 new tracks. And it didn't fly. And then they did the whole thing with Method Man. They had a trio.
Gotcha.
What is it? Bad Meets Evil? Royce and them?
Yeah, Royce. I know.
I love Royce. He's a monster.
That's another underrated motherfucker right there.
Agreed.
I don't think a lot of kids these days, I don't even think a lot of them even know who Royce the 5'9" is. And,
outside of Detroit.
Yeah, right. Obviously they love him in Detroit, but geez.
The new Jay Electronica album is essentially Jay Electronica and Jay-Z album because Jay-Z's on every fucking track. I don't mind it. I wish they would have told us that it was going to be that. But that's, to me, you heard that new Jay Elect and Jay-Z? It's not Jay Elect. And his first offering, I don't know. I ain't mad at him. I would have Jay-Z on every one of my tracks. But, it's...
But I would promote it that way.
Yes.
It wouldn't be a secret.
Splitting hairs. Yes, it would not be a secret.
You want to sell albums? Tell everybody Jay-Z's on
no
it.
shit. It's not Paula Poundstone on the fucking thing.
Wow, how old are you?
It was on an episode of Entourage I saw last night. So,
historically, I would have loved a Joe and Pun album.
Nice. Twins.
Yeah. I would like to see MGK and Eminem do some collabs.
Never say never on that.
Yeah.
Never say never.
There's always money to be made.
I would like to see Bronson and Ghostface
Yeah.
do some shit together and like go at it. Although Ghostface did like threaten his life.
right. We got to see how that plays out. To be continued on
And
Zero Dark
really,
Nerdy.
The thing that everybody's waiting for, Kendrick and Cole.
Yeah.
Which has been rumored and rumored and rumored.
I got a feeling a lot of that stuff is sitting on a shelf somewhere.
Well, you got these clickbait, clickbait fucking websites that are always like, oh, well, this Friday they're going to finally drop the album, and then that's how they get, their damn numbers go through the roof, and of course, it's nowhere near it.
Yeah.
I think when it happens, it's literally going to be one of those things to where, like, when M drops, like, literally when half the artists drop an album now, we don't know about it. We just get, like, a Twitter update, like, yo, here it is.
The problem is they can't tell anybody.
All right.
Because the minute that they start,
it's released.
yeah,
It's leaked.
it's out, you know, and listen, it just shouldn't be that way. You know what I mean? So now even artists are like, they leak fake songs.
Yeah.
So people can't get on the scent of what they're actually doing, which is smart, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I need the Kendrick and Cole.
I would love that.
Now, sidebar. Kendrick or Cole?
Ooh,
J. Cole.
Shit.
Me too.
Yeah, I gotta go J. Cole.
Wow,
Not just because he's from
okay.
yeah, we actually agreed on something. I mean, not only is he from Asheville, you know what I mean? Fayetteville, North Carolina's very own
Vietnam, I believe.
Yeah, I love Kendrick. My daughter's gonna probably have a heart attack when she hears me, say that I picked J. Cole over Kendrick, but I do, man. I just like J. Cole better. There's not a bad answer to this. Don't get me wrong, but you got to pick one.
There's
gun
not
to
a
your
wrong
head.
answer.
Exactly. Gun to your head. If you got to pick one, that's my answer. J. Cole.
This is the way that I would say it. Listen, I've never been a huge Kendrick Lamar guy, so I'm a little biased. I like some of the things that he's done. J. Cole feels like a 90s rapper to me.
Right.
There's just no other way for
100%.
me to say it. And it's not necessarily even a sound or anything like that. It's just a feeling that I get when I listen to him.
Right.
Right. He just feels like a 90s.
Authenticity
Yeah.
type.
I don't know, So there's just something about him that takes me back when there's nothing to go back to, I guess, right? Because he wasn't there, right?
Right.
But he takes me back in a way that, like the song, oh my God, where he's talking about fucking for the first time.
And I never did this.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
yes.
God,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Just all of that stuff, oh my man, don't even get me started, man.
Yeah.
That dude
they're both great storytellers. Like I said, gun to head, I got to go J. Cole. I mean, there's really no wrong answer to that at all whatsoever.
Yay.
At least according to me, Saban might feel different though.
No.
But he feels different about a lot of things.
Well, and I know your answer to this already. But obviously we do.
You always do this. You hit me with the
Well, no, you might.
You hit me with the Rakim or Big Daddy Kane on our favorite MC.
Still waiting on
out
that
of the
one.
blue. I told you I think Rakim because I thought
I take Rakim over Big Daddy Kane.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
I get
listen.
it. I get it. You're not wrong, but you
Yeah,
ain't
no,
right either.
there's no wrong answer there either, right? I mean, you love Big Daddy Kane,
Yeah.
but anyway, you were gonna ask something.
Oh, well, it's kind of biased. I was going to ask Ray and Ghost, if you had to pick Ray and Ghost or Meth and Red.
Oh, Meth and Red all day.
I'm gonna go Ray and Ghost.
I know he was gonna go Ray and Ghost.
Okay.
It's not that I don't like Method Man
Right.
and Redman.
They're both fantastic
Well,
duos.
I need to finish what I was about to say. It's not that I don't like Meth and Redman. No,
Damn, son.
Well, what I'm about to say is important. It's just I don't even think it's close. Okay, that's the part that
Wow.
I needed you to hear. I don't think it's close.
Wow.
I didn't expect that. That's why.
Like lyrically, production wise, like what are we talking about here?
Well, no. If you let's say they had the same producers on every track.
All right.
Well, they're not going to. They're not going to.
Right.
I think
And don't get me wrong, Matthew and I actually, 3-4 years ago before the heart issues, we saw Ray and Ghost at the Fillmore in Charlotte. They did it was the Purple Tape
Charlotte
tour.
or Raleigh?
No, Charlotte. Yeah, the Fillmore in Charlotte.
yes.
Purple Tape tour. It was great. They did a bunch of their songs. They did a bunch of like their lyrics from Wu-Tang tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a fucking blast.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So
did the
I don't
tape
know
front to
about
back.
not even close. I don't know about that.
In my mind,
No,
I don't mean just
We
like
all have our own opinion.
yeah.
Exactly. That's why we have a podcast.
I feel like I should have answered the question the way you wanted me to.
Yeah.
No, it's fair. Like I said, I didn't expect.
I'll just cut a bunch of your shit out in post.
It's fine. It's fine. Make it a better episode.
Fuck you. All right. So as far as collabs, you guys actually went through a few of them. Of course, Kendrick and J. Cole. One that I would have liked to seen if they were both still alive today. I would have loved to have seen Big and Pac just squash it. And like I said, this is fantasy scenarios, this, that, and the other. I would have loved to have seen a Big and Pac album, plain and simple.
Which you may have eventually gotten, to be
Right.
honest with you.
Because at the end of the day, why do you think bands that break up get back together? It's not because they love each other
Money.
again. Money. Exactly.
Yeah.
Money.
For the cash.
So
I don't. You're not wrong.
right.
It would have happened.
Yeah.
I support it. I guess.
mean, you know,
but I
yeah.
wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Jay and Nas made the Black Republican song, you
And
know.
that's it, though.
right. But my point is, right, you know,
Yeah.
and that was a pretty vicious beef.
Oh yeah.
Skeeted in your Jeep, leaving condoms on the baby seat.
Yeah. And I mean, they went to
His
fucking.
mama made him apologize
They
for
went
that shit.
to what was it? What's the shit in New York? Summer Jam
Yeah.
or whatever, where he had all the shit on the damn big screen too. On top
Well, yeah,
of that,
that's when he did Prodigy.
Yep.
I got the pictures. I seen you.
Yeah.
And Prodigy was in a tutu or some shit.
Yep. So that's a whole nother level. Not only are you rapping about this motherfucker, you got
But
visual examples.
And so Nas tried to do that the next year,
yeah.
and he had like something of like it was almost like a crash test dummy of Jay-Z
Yeah.
being hung.
Oh,
And they were like, "Nope,
Yeah.
you can't do that."
No.
so
little
he just
much.
didn't do
No.
the show.
yeah. That
he
is
said, if I
that is a
can't do
lot
that,
of
fuck
much.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
yeah. And I was
Well,
just
good for the
listening-
fucking producers to be like, no, you're not doing that shit.
It was crazy. I was just listening to something the other day, and Angie Martinez was actually telling the story about how Nas won with Ether.
Yeah.
And she had to say it live on the air.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z walks by, and she's like, "Oh shit!"
Can you redact that?
And
No.
that's another thing.
Yeah.
People still want to say, Jay-Z won that.
Right.
No, he didn't.
Right.
He didn't.
No.
Okay.
Ether's.
It's Ether. Like you just say Ether, and that's a verb now. Like
Yeah.
Oh, you just got
Yeah, you
Ether.
just got Ether, son. And I mean,
Ether's-
seeing a collab album with those two guys too, would be. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna finish this up real quick. I know Dre. We all know Dre does not write a lot of his own shit, but I would love to see an Ice Cube Dre.
Yeah.
Just kind of reunion, semi NWA. I know MC Ren's still around, but if all three of them get back together, fantastic. I mean, NWA is definitely one of my favorite rap groups of all time, and I love what they did on the Natural Born Killer soundtrack with the song "Natural Born Killer." It was
I
just
say
fantastic.
throw Ren on a track or two.
Yeah. I mean, Ren still hits it hard on fucking from LA.
You sounded really good there.
You're welcome. You're welcome, world.
Did you warm up the vocals?
You're welcome.
For that?
I did.
the hardest
Yeah,
shit
where's
since
my honey
MC
at?
Ren.
Where's my honey at?
He might not write it, but he says it could. You know what I mean?
There you go. And then my most random, but it makes sense to me, like duo, Lil Dicky and Redman. Just because their flow is fucking tight. They're both kind of like comedy rappers, but not
Yeah.
like comedy like Lonely Island shit. Like, I mean, I love Lonely Island. The shit's hysterical, but we all know what it is. You know what I mean? I'm on a boat
I'm on
rapping
a
about
boat.
dumb shit. Like Lil Dicky can actually flow and
Yes.
can rap.
Yes, he can.
And of course, so can Redman. And Redman's been doing the funny shit for a while now. Every album, he has some of the best skits on
Yeah.
there. He puts in some of the best flow. I would love to see, even if it's just for one track,
That's
a
a good
Lil
one.
Dicky Redman
That's
collab.
a good one. I like that. That's a good one to end it on.
Thanks.
Actually,
since
let
I've
me-
been sucking this whole show, apparently.
No, you've been doing a good job. You've been doing a good job. I don't think we ended on that. I think we ended on this. Let me get some detox. Jesus.
yeah, no shit.
Detox on
At
the
this
way.
point is going to be like Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, what'd you do that shit for?
I don't know.
10 years too late, man. Like,
You'd buy it.
Detox?
Shit, we'd all buy it.
I would download it illegally.
Yeah. So give me some detox.
All right, ladies and gents, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Zero Dark Nerdy. Again, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network, the #1 podcast network for professionals. Big shout out to our boy Andrew Newman, attorney at law. If you are in the state of North Carolina, does not matter what county you are in. If you are in trouble as far as traffic court, civil, criminal, be sure to check him out. It is attorneynewman.com. That is his website. As always, a big shout out to our friends over at Zibster for taking care of our amazing website, which is popculturepodcast.com. And Saba, tell them about the water cooler one more time.
The water cooler. Ryan Saba, Luke Crocker at WC Sports Pod. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Like, follow, subscribe. You can hear us on all your favorite streaming platforms, iTunes, Google. Look, you can find us anywhere. Holla at your boy.
There it is. And as always, any show ideas that you would love for us to cover, if you'd like to join us on the show, go on the website, again, popculturepodcast.com. Go to the Contact Us form, fill it out, we'll do our best. And as always, subscribe, like, follow on those same platforms that the water cooler is on.
All the things.
All the things, all the time. So thank you to all the hip-hop heads out there, and hopefully we educated some of you young bucks. Feel free to hit us up with any questions you may have. We love entertaining the masses and, of course, educating the masses. And we'll
And
catch
let us
you on the
know
next
who we
one.
missed.
Yes.
We missed them. I'm telling you, we missed them.
Oh, we missed a few.
We missed them.
We missed a few.
Yeah, we should probably put a poll out there. Who's
Yeah.
your favorite duos?
There we go.
You
So
know,
there
or
it
not
is.
a poll, just an open,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
We
Just say
want to
Mobb
hear.
Deep. Just say Mobb Deep.
I'm glad we did bring up
Don't
UGK,
say,
though.
don't say Tribe Called Quest.
Go fuck yourself. We'll see you next week.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If you get your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. So start your free trial of Sirius XM today. Visit SiriusXM.com/believe.